Comments. The last thing I'd say is remember BRAC. Every administration, the last 3 administrations have had a BRAC process. This next administration surely will have one. And one of the key problems for us will be that each of these bases in Alaska are very high cost because of the energy crisis. And I think that this project, if we can get going, we can demonstrate our willingness to the state. Thank you, Speaker Harris, and the city, everyone be involved in making this project go forward. I think it'll have a lot to do with quieting down the cries for some type of elimination of one or more of our bases because of the cost. So now we'll take questions, except for my friend Drew. Drew works for Senator Schumer. He's an Alaskan, so we allow him wherever he wants to go. But he's not an accredited news person, so we exclude you, and you can take the camera backwards to Mayor Baggage, and he'll enjoy it, I'm sure. Anyone have any questions? Yes?
I'm not sure which one of you would like to address it, but fundamental to the economics of this project seems to be that we are in a new oil economy where the price is going to remain high enough that this coal to liquids will continue to be economic through its development, and so that the plant will have a significant life afterwards. Can you speak to the current energy crisis and differentiate it from what we experienced in the 70s? Because I don't see any people waiting in line for gas. Seems like there's enough fuel. Well,
I think the crisis has got 2 different phases. One is the increased demand in the world with China and India and others increasing their purchasing of petroleum products. All right. Secondly, however, we have another current paradigm, and that is the intrusion of the industrial and institutional investors in the process. The speculators, the institutional speculators. In my judgment, the price has already come down because we've started to say they're in trouble if they keep it up. I hope that comes down. But in any event, anyone will tell you today that even with all of the speculation taken out, the price will still be somewhere between $95 and $100 a barrel. And unless we can get additional supply, it will continue to go up. People talk about the fact that if we have additional supply, it won't reduce the price of gasoline. But if we have additional supply, I can tell you it won't continue to go up. And we're looking to increase the supply of domestic production of oil and gas. And as we get that, as we bring home some of the purchases of foreign oil, we're currently purchasing about 12 million barrels of oil a day. As we reduce that, we'll be generating income to the state and the federal government, because most of the oil we will produce is either on federal or state lands. And that income, I believe, and I think Congress is going to insist that it be dedicated to the next generation of alternative and renewable fuels. And that's what we're dealing with right now, a different type of fuel for the future of aviation. So, gentlemen, anyone else want to take that?
Well, I disagree with what the senator said. That the price of oil may go down some, but it hurts my feelings when I hear Schumer and the rest of them say, well, that won't lower the price of gasoline if we open ANWR or if we develop coal to liquefaction. I heard that 13 years ago when Bill Clinton vetoed the bill. We have to start producing energy today, from coal especially, and what fossil fuels that are liquid, we have to produce it also, so that as the consumption rate goes up nationally and globally, that the price won't just get out of our reach and kill this economy. And that's what we're going to do with this project.
Questions, gentlemen? Lady?
I would ask Undersecretary Albright, you've made some indications that you were in support of this project. How can the Department of Energy help?
Well, I'm in support of the project in concept, and I don't know the details of the project other than what I've heard. I think what we can do at the department and in the administration is show our support for all sorts of energy. We truly need it all, and this is one aspect of what we need to broaden our portfolio as demand increases. There was a reference earlier to what happened in the 70s. And what happened there was production was taken offline in some of the Middle Eastern countries. What's happening now is demand is increasing all over the world. India, China, and other areas of the world, the U.S., demand is increasing. We expect about a 57% increase by the year 2030. And that's huge energy demand, and we need to develop all our energy sources. Much of it is here in Alaska. You are blessed. There's an abundance of energy sources, and we need to develop it all in an economically and environmentally sensible way. So we do support everything that will get us there.
Well, also, Mr. Secretary, we already have some funds in the bill for Department of Energy to allocate on a discretionary basis for renewable energy concepts. And we do expect, and happy that the Secretary's representative here, and former member of Congress, he understands what we're doing, and we're trying to generate the overall support for the financing of this project, because we want it to go forward as quickly as possible. It will have some federal funds in it.
Well, and Senator, let me say, I didn't fly like 10, 12, 14 hours, whatever it was, for nothing. I'm there for a good reason.
What about moving ahead with coal, an inherently dirtier fuel than oil, even at a time when a lot of people are concerned about increasing CO2 emissions?
Well, you should go through these briefings. Part of the concepts of this project is to find ways to sequester the pollution, to make this an environmentally friendly project, and it will be. I do think we have to keep in mind, as I said, we have half the coal in the United States. It doesn't make much sense for us to not participate in one of the major shifts in terms of liquids. Coal to liquid is going to be the thing for the future for the whole country. And we're going to be involved in that because of our coal base. Okay? Anyone? Any last questions? Yes, Miss?
Oh, I'm sorry. Senator, when you talk about renewable energy concepts, does that include alternative, or can you include something like biomass and coal to liquids as renewable?
There's biomass in this process right here.
Okay.
This part of the concept will be how far can they go to add local biomass to this process as we go forward. And I do think, but what we're talking about is the renewable and alternative forms of energy, the wind power, the current power, the geothermal power that we're going to go to see later today, and the various alternatives that we have. I'm still talking about methane. We still have more methane than any other state. We got one project up in the West Coast to see if we can capture that and make it available for villages for local generation. There are all sorts of things we're looking at for renewable and alternative forms of energy, but we cannot afford them until we start getting some of the income we're sending offshore. That's why we're trying to develop some types of domestic production, whether it's not production of naturally oil and gas or production of synthetic fuels, in order to keep the money here at home that you generate from the sale of that product. Anyone else? You have a question back there, sir?
Senator, can I add one thing to that?
Yes, yes, sir.
You mentioned renewable. I don't know of too many renewable fuels that are powering the F-22s and the F-16s that keep America safe from the rest of the world. And so when we talk about renewable, we're talking more about electrical generation than we are about fuel generation. So that's a big difference, and we do have two issues here. Fairbanks, where we're at today, obviously, is seeing an increase in electric costs and a huge increase, like the rest of the country, in fuel costs. This is one way to address fuel costs. There are other ways to address electric energy costs, and we're certainly looking at those too, but that's a different subject. Goes to sit in the dam, and let's get the Clean Coal Project back online and other things like that.
Later this afternoon, I'll be explaining some of the things that the Air Force people have told me and my staff about their willingness to participate. One of the things you should keep in mind that we have added $10 million to the defense budget so that the Defense Department can help contribute to get this project started, this particular project at Eielson. And the project involves, and again, it is Mayor Whitaker's real suggestion and development of the whole concept along with Jim Dodson. But we intend to try to use land at Eielson and use the synergy of the fact that we have this enormous coal field under control of usability with the Alaska Railroad that will profit off it. Alaska Railroad also has bonding capability to participate in the project. So there's a whole series of things that can go together to make this project get going faster than any other project in the country if we can get everyone working together.